Do you know Jesus? I remember the question. I was in late middle school or early high school, and each Friday in the summer, the city of Morganton put on a concert on the town square. There being, at the time, a dearth of things to do in my hometown, Mom and Dad would take my brother and me out to the concert. And we would wander around downtown Morganton with our friends, trying to find that right balance of shenanigans to entertain ourselves but not to get in trouble with the cops. Do you know Jesus? Standing in front of that question was an older man, older compared to the nerdy teenagers amongst whom I counted myself. He may have only been as old as I am now. He was wearing a clean t-shirt with some religious cliche printed on it and some blue jeans. Not creepy or dangerous or anything, just a mite presumptuous. He saw teenagers acting like teenagers and assumed that they needed saving. Do you know Jesus? Listen, old guy, I'm 15 years old. I know everything. What's more, I'm a preacher's kid. I'm a Presbyterian preacher's kid. If you want to knock doctrines with me, you may find yourself outmatched. Oh, street preacher, go. Flee away to the land of turn or burn. Earn your bread there and prophesy there. But never again prophesy of me and my friends. God, I was insufferable back then. Lord, save me from a son who grows up to be just like me. Do you know Jesus? The way we answer that question bridges the distance between astounded and offended. On the Sabbath, Jesus began to teach in the synagogue, and many who heard him were astounded. They said, "Where did this man get all this? What is this wisdom that has been given to him? What deeds of power are being done by his hands? Is this not the carpenter? The son of Mary and the brother of James and Joseph and Judas and Simon? And are not his sisters with us?" And they took offense at him. "Sure, I know Jesus. I grew up with him. My parents went to book club with his mom. I used to babysit his little brother Simon. He used to work in his dad's wood shop before he left on this little preaching and teaching tour. I've known Jesus my whole life." And now he's back from his little speech circuit and he's come back here telling us to change our hearts and lives because the kingdom of heaven is at hand. I'm glad my buddy is back in town, but he's out there acting like he can walk on water or something. And that kind of stuff is just unwelcome here. I mean, he was a good friend, but telling me how to live my life? I take offense at that. Jesus responds with a lamenting proverb. Prophets are not without honor, except in their hometown, and among their own kin, and in their own house. In the face of their amazing unbelief, Jesus is unable to show them who he is with the deeds of power that ordinarily identify a prophet. The unbelief of Jesus' own people had a dampening effect on his work in their midst. It also marked the end of his work there. Rather than stay to argue with his own people or to try to convince them by further mighty works, Jesus moves on. In the middle of verse 6, not even waiting until that verse ends, Jesus goes from amazed at their unbelief to going about among the other villages. Knowing Jesus is no guarantee that he is at work in one's life, at least not in obvious ways. In Jesus' hometown, his transformative message was unwelcome because the people there had the relationship backwards. They thought Jesus belonged to them, when in fact they, like all of us, belong to Jesus. Now the difference there is pretty significant. When Jesus belongs to us, we try and tame him. We try and remake him in our own image. But when we belong to Jesus, we are the ones who are transformed. If we only see Jesus as a friend and fail to see him as Lord, then we may miss the deeds of power he could do through us. If we stop at knowing who Jesus is and do not follow him, then the good news he brings may end up unwelcome among us. But if we do follow Jesus, as the 12 did, then Jesus will equip us for our ministry. Jesus sent them out to spread the same gospel he was teaching, and they cast out many demons and anointed with oil many who were sick and cured them. The 12 are not known for their great faith, especially in the way Mark tells the story. But they understood that their calling was from the Lord. And like Amos, they had to go, even if they lacked the traditional qualifications. Do you know Jesus? Because the Jesus I have come to know since I set aside my adolescent arrogance welcomes you to his table no matter how many times we tell him that he is unwelcome in our lives. And because he was unwelcome, no one else has to be. The Jesus I know went to his death to save the same hometown that rejected him. And he saved us too. Even if we make him unwelcome by ignoring his transformative love. Flawless faith is not required to find a place at this table. We come at the Lord's own invitation. Gathered around this table, we can come to know Jesus better and to see his deeds of power all around us. No one is unwelcome. Not even you, not even me. Thanks be to God for that. Amen.